Okay, just a reminder, when you're taking notes, everything I write on the board goes in your notes. Everything I write on the board goes in your notes, okay? It's really important you learn to do that. That's what the teacher says is important. So it's gold, so don't mess up on that. Now, a lot of times they call the lesson evaluation of algebraic expressions. Most of the time you're going to see the word evaluate or evaluating, right? Evaluating algebraic expressions. That's how you'll mostly see it in real life, in real problems. And so they will say evaluate. Whenever they say evaluate, they usually mean you're going to plug something in for something, right? Now when they say expressions, who knows what an expression is?
Expression.
Yes, Dave.
It's hard to explain. I know what it is and what it does.
So give me an example of
but
an expression.
I don't
Give me
know
an
how to
example of an expression.
So, so,
But in terms of math, right? I mean, in terms of like English, an expression would be like, you know, the cute dog, right? Or, you know, I mean, it could be anything, right? It could be a little expression. But it's not an equation. It's not a sentence. It's not a full sentence, right? You know what I'm saying? In English, it could be, you know, the cute dog. But it doesn't, well, that's not a sentence. The cute dog what? Right? Oh, I'm driving me crazy. What is he doing? Right? You have to have a verb, an action verb ideally. The dog sleeps. Well, that's not an action verb, but it's a verb. That's now a sentence, right? That means there's an equal sign there. In math, if you have an equal sign, what is it called? If you have a equation with an equal sign and, if you have an expression and then an equal sign and then an expression, you have what's called an equation, right? Equation. So guys, there's too much noise. Too much noise. You have an equation if you have an equal sign. So if you don't have an equal sign, you have an expression. This is an expression. X is an expression. XY is an expression. XYZ is an expression. Yes?
So is it kind of like, would an expression be like where it's like 3 plus x equals 6, what does x equal?
3 plus x equals 6. As soon as you put equals 6, then you turn it into an equation. But if you didn't have the equals 6, that is an expression. Right? Now, when they say evaluate, they usually are talking about expressions, not equations, okay? And what they're doing is they're saying evaluate an expression when x equals something and y equals something. See what I'm saying? So that's the kind of thing you're going to see. So let's do an example right away, and you'll see immediately what I'm talking about. I'm just using examples from the book because it's quickest and easiest. So find the value of xmp. Find the value. Find the value. Notice that's a different way to say evaluate. Evaluate, meaning find the value. Find the value of xmp when x is equal to, I'll just use what they said. X is 4, m is 5, p is 2. X is 4, m equals 5, p equals 2. So when they say evaluate or find the value of an expression, when x is that, m is that, p is that, there's an x, there's an m, there's a p. I just simply substitute. You know what substitute means, right?
yes.
Substitute. Right? If Nate substituted for me, he would replace me. I would suddenly be off the video, right? And he would be here, right? He substituted for me. Now the same thing's happening with this. X is 4. So that X is off the video, right? Now we have no X, we have a 4. And then times, because that's X times M times P. M is 5, we push the M away and we substitute it with 5. And then times. P is 2. We're going to knock the P off the court, and we're going to put a 2 there instead. And we are going to find the value of XMP now when it's 4 times 5 times 2. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. So the answer is 40. So we just evaluated that expression.
Woohoo!
So that's pretty
Amazing.
easy. Isn't that pretty easy? So that was pretty easy. But now let's move them a little bit harder. Make them a little bit harder now. Can I erase? Can I erase?
No.
Okay, so that was 1. So we'll do 2.
Number 2?
Well, no, this is our second one we're going to do. So let's say minus x minus parenthesis
Right.
minus a plus b when x is equal to 2, a is equal to negative 4, and b is equal to negative 6. Okay? So this is where you have to be careful because there are negative signs. And that's what I want you guys to realize. In math, you have to be really accurate, right? Accuracy is really important. And negative signs, when you see negative signs, it's like, wake up, right? Trust me, if you don't wake yourself up when there's a negative sign in a problem, you're putting yourself at risk of making a mistake, right? You've got to wake up. So I see x is 2. It says minus x. So I'm going to do minus 2. X was 2, right? And then it says minus, and then I have a parenthesis, and then it says minus. I'm writing that minus right here. Now it says a. A is the same as negative 4. So I'm going to put a negative 4 right next to that minus sign.
Wow.
Right? Do you see what I did?
Yes.
And you're not supposed to have minus minus, right? What does minus minus become?
Plus.
Plus.
Positive.
But write it first, right? Because then you'll never make the mistake. If you do it in your brain, I guarantee you're going to make a mistake eventually. Write it. Negative, negative. A is negative 4, negative 4. Negative, negative is positive. Now I can turn that into a great big huge plus sign. Right? Positive 4 plus. Now B is negative 6. Negative 6. Now I don't like to have positive and negatives next to each other. What is it when you have a plus plus minus? It's negative, right? Negative wins when you have plus minus together. So now we're going to simplify it. We got negative 2 minus parenthesis 4 minus 6. Now that's much easier to do, right?
Yes.
What's 4 minus 6?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So we have negative 2 minus a negative 2. What's negative negative?
Positive.
What's negative negative? Positive, right. So that becomes positive, and yes, Noah is correct. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Excellent.
0.
Right? It's pretty easy. It's basically,
10:02.
you're going to be working with order of operation. The only difference is you're going to have an expression with variables. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And in place of those variables, they're going to tell you what to put. And you're going to knock those things right off the page, right? And you're going to put the number in place of it. You're going to substitute that number, whatever it is, for X and for Y and for Z and for A and B and C and whatever else they come up with. Saxon loves lots of variables, including S's that look like 5s and G's that look like 9s.
Oh, wow.
They love all those things. Drives me crazy. All right, so fist to 5. Are you understanding this? Is that making sense? It's now we're just adding that one extra thing of substituting in, but then you're going to be simplifying the problem like using PEMDAS, right? Like you've been doing with the order of operations. Okay, so that's that. So get out your planner, and I'm going to tell you the homework. Everybody get out your planner.